The evidence led our investigators to serving Kenya Police Service officers who apparently and unfortunately played very critical roles in the conspiracy. Inspector Kenneth Kipkemboi-Sang, the officer in charge of Nderi Police Post under Kikuyu Police Station, has been positively identified as the link person between the financiers and the operational team, as well as the source of the murder weapon. And this officer is currently on the run. Through analysis of evidence, thorough analysis of evidence has further established the identity of the officer who pulled the trigger. One PC Elijah Kibelion Kimoi, attached to Karinde Police Post under Kikuyu Police Station. He has equally been arrested, and again, we were able to forensically place him to the scene of the fatal shooting. He is the individual identified as having fatally shot Dr. Mutiso. The involvement of these rogue police officers represents a grave betrayal of the uniform and the public trust. And the Directorate of Criminal Investigations will pursue them with the full force of the law.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is your Jomba Mwabili Mogodi. And as you are all aware, for the very longest of time, I have been constantly calling out the National Police Service, specifically the Inspector General of Police, of National Police Service, Douglas Kanja, on the state of affairs in that institution. There is a very clear and deliberate effort to decimate the structures that are put in place that govern this very critical institution in the security of Kenyans and their lives and their livelihoods and their properties. And since President Ruto took office, we have seen a complete deterioration in this institution. There have been very many cases where we have seen on live TV during demonstrations whereby the police are being misused by the state, and this is being done, from what I understand, through a parallel chain of command. So there is a total breakdown in the chain of command. There are rogue police officers who receive orders from outside of the Inspector General of Police chain of command. Can you believe that? Like, there are police officers who work specifically for a political wing, and this political wing, of course, is led by President Ruto, and these police officers' instructions are to go out there and to basically intimidate, harass, antagonize Kenyans who are against President Ruto. As you have seen in that opening segment, and I do not want to take the tribal angle here, but from what I understand from insiders in the organization, in the National Police Service, the people who are operating under these bloodlines without any official cover mostly come from specific tribes, and these are Kalenjins, and they operate under the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud K. Lagat, who is also a Kalenjin. It is something that I have been calling out for months, the Kalenjinization of the National Police Service, And as you can see in the opening segment, the 3 police officers implicated in the crime of killing this medical doctor, this psychiatrist, all come from one specific tribe. So today, viewers of Mwabili Mogodi TV, I just wanted us to discuss the state of especially the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. When President Ruto came into office, when President Ruto took office in September 2022, one of the first things he did was to fire the then director of the DCI, George Kinoti. He was fired in a very humiliating way in public at State House by President Ruto. At that time, the IG of police was Mutiambai. Mutiambai had taken a medical sick leave immediately after President Ruto took office because Mutiambai and Kinoti had been misused by the then President Uhuru Kenyatta, and they were used to basically target political opponents of Uhuru Kenyatta and the late Baba Raila Odinga, who were running a campaign for the office of president together, a joint campaign for the office of the president in an effort to block President Ruto from rising in this office. And President Ruto told us, and he waxed lyrical about how the police should be an independent institution, and that how under him they are no longer going to be extrajudicial killings, and how they are going to respect the rule of life and the rule of law, you know. And there was a lot of nonsense that President Ruto took us through immediately after he took office. And sadly, months after that, after he installed Mohammed Amin as the director of DCI, and then it was Koome who was the Inspector General of Police. We have seen in a very short period of time, in less than 4 years, how this National Police Service and the DCI have disintegrated to become a completely political wing of President Ruto, and they are used, especially the DCI, has been used, misused, and abused by President Ruto to pursue political opponents. And the sad reality is that most of these political opponents are young Kenyans whose only crime is to fight for good governance. We have seen time and again countless of times since June 2024, the DCI going after young Kenyans. We have very many cases. There is that cartoonist on Twitter called Kibet Bull who was abducted by the DCI, and his case was actually even worse because they didn't just abduct Kibet Bull, but Kibet Bull was using a VPN and he was not being seen on his phone. Okay, so they could not track him down. So they instead went after his older brother, abducted him in Udhiru, and they made him produce the younger brother. That is the DCI of Mohammed Amin and President Ruto. We saw them abduct Bosgabi. Bosgabi just posted a picture of a coffin with the Kenyan flag draped over it. He didn't even say, I wish President Ruto should be in that coffin. He just posted a picture of that coffin with the flag. He was abducted all the way in Eldoret from his dorm room at Moi University in 2024, towards the end of 2024. We have seen countless of cases. The DCI even went for a woman, Rose Tunguru, who is an IT guru, and Rose Tunguru's only crime in June 2025 was to code software or create software that let Kenyans reject the finance bill of 2025, okay, on their phones. She created a very brilliant software that you just click on the link, you enter your email address, and there you have it. Immediately it sends an email to the Speaker of National Assembly when they had asked for memorandum on the Finance Bill Public Participation 2025. And they went and abducted her in her home in front of her 2 babies. This is the DCI of Mohammed Amin. It has been misused, it has been abused by President Ruto to go after brilliant young Kenyans just because they disagree with him. So recently, just a week or 2 ago, this medical doctor, this psychiatrist, was on her way to work in an Uber. She was waylaid by armed criminals and she was assassinated. She was shot dead in broad daylight, early in the morning, on her way to work. And sadly, time and again, we are seeing cases like this. Just recently, it was Ongondo Were, the member of parliament from Kasipul Kabondo, who was also shot by armed criminals on a motorbike. And these criminals have never been found. I don't know where the case is. I can't say, okay, they arrested some people, but that case is going nowhere. So after this incident of the assassination of this psychiatrist, recently former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua claimed that he has intelligence on the people who executed this assassination. And he told President Ruto, the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, and specifically the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI Director Mohammed Amin, that if they do not go ahead to arrest the people behind these heinous crimes, he is going to publicly name them. And the intelligence of Rigathi Gachagua was so specific that he mentioned that these people were from a specific tribe. For us, Mwabili Magodi TV viewers, this is not new. We have seen, you have seen us cover time and again police brutality here during, for example, the May 18th fuel protests here in Kiambu Town. We saw President Ruto kill a police unit in Kiambu Town and shoot and kill innocent Kenyans who were going about their business. There were not even protests in Kiambu Town. They just came in and started shooting people and killing people. We have seen this time and again. You've seen this in Nanyuki, where a killer police unit, in fact, dressed in British Army uniforms, go onto the streets, shoot to kill Kenyans. We have seen this in the Nairobi CBD, where rogue police officers in plainclothes infiltrate maandamano and shoot and kill Kenyans. So when Rigathi Gachagua said that these people came specifically from President Ruto's tribe, this was not a shock to many of you, my viewers. We have been talking about this. We know about this. And this led to now the DCI coming out on when is today? On the 7th, and say that they are going to hold a press conference. And they didn't specify what the press conference was for. And 1 hour to the press conference at 12 p.m., Rigathi Gachagua, in true Rigathi Gachagua fashion, he tweeted and he posted on Facebook and told them, DCI Director Mohammed Amin, that if you are going to come out and not tell us the progress of this case, then I am going to spill the beans. Nitatangaza majina ya wale mapolisi ambao wako involved in this killing. You have heard the director in the opening segment. Those 3 police officers come from a specific tribe. This is nothing new. And this raises the questions: are Kenyans safe under President Ruto's National Police Service and DCI? Are we safe? My friends, my viewers of Mwabili Mogodi TV. Yeah, are we safe? If officers of the National Police Service can go out to execute a psychiatrist, this is not a politician, and they are saying that this is linked to a land dispute. This is linked to a land dispute, and she was assassinated in broad daylight by police officers. Yeah, are we safe? Can you go to the comments and tell me, wherever you live, wherever you are watching me from here in the Republic of Kenya, do you as a Kenyan feel safe if these are the things that are happening? To make matters worse, and that is why I really needed to talk about this, is that the director of DCI, Mohammed Amin, took this investigation into a political direction, which is an extremely dangerous path. He was asked a question by a journalist on what connection Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has to this investigation. And the DCI claimed that they are also investigating Rigathi Gachagua because Rigathi Gachagua was in touch with some of the suspects, specifically one of the drivers and one of the police officers, as they undertook this crime, before they undertook this crime, as they undertook this crime, and after they undertook this heinous crime. And this is a very dangerous place to be in. And Rigathi Gachagua is doing this on purpose in an effort to drag the DCI director down into a fight inside a pigsty with a pig. Because Rigathi Gachagua, in all senses of, and yani ukiangalia vizuri yule jamaa ana act kama nguruwe. He's acting like a pig, and what he wants is the fight to bring the DCI down into the pigsty, amchafue na matope, because ukipigana na nguruwe ni wewe utachafuka. Nguruwe yako sawa. Like for them, that is exactly where they want to be. And the director of DCI has stepped into that trap, and now Rigathi Gachagua is dragging him through the mud. And my greatest fear is because we have already seen that the DCI director, Mohammed Amin, has no interest in the pursuit of justice apart from protecting the rogue regime of President Ruto. I highly believe, viewers of Mwabili Mogodi TV, and I'm sure you agree with me, we are not going to see any meaningful investigation into this heinous crime, because it will lead back to the top of the chain of command or the top of the political ecosystem. I am guaranteeing you this, my viewers, and that is why he is trying to muddy this investigation by trying to drag Rigathi Gachagua into it, that he was in touch with the suspects and other nonsense, in an effort to basically kuharibu tu huu uchunguzi, ndio hiyo kesi. It's called bungling an investigation. So his plan is to bungle this investigation, just like they have bungled thousands of investigations that involve criminality on the side of police, who are politically protected by this president and his rogue government. This is exactly how I feel it will end with this investigation. DCI Amin is not here to pursue justice on behalf of Kenyans. DCI Mohammed Amin is not here to help us as citizens be safe and secure in our day-to-day lives. His duties and responsibilities, his main duty and responsibility is to protect this rogue president and to go after political opponents of the president. Sadly, this is the first time in the history of Kenya we have seen a president go after citizens And not just citizens, young Kenyans, 18, 19, 20, 22, 21-year-olds, whose only crime is to protest against his government. Their only crime is to tweet, is to post on Facebook, to criticize this president. It is easier for you as a Kenyan today to be abducted, to be tortured and killed just because you went on Twitter and you say Ruto must go. Just because you went on Facebook and you said one time. They will track you to your village. I have covered these stories here. You have seen Halima Ngache, also known as Princess Halima, be tracked down to her home in Kadzandani. Kadzandani is a village huko in Nyali constituency in Bamburi. Yani huko hata hakuna barabara ati magari yanaweza kuingia. It's one of those unplanned settlements that we have seen mushroom around the country, specifically Mombasa, for the past 30 years, where people just construct. There is no plan ya barabara and everything. And they tracked this woman all the way to Kadzandani. Just because of politics. Just because they thought that, or they feel that this one is disagreeing with the president. You need to abduct them and teach them a lesson so that they come back on social media and shut up. That is the work of DCI Mohammed Amin. So when it comes to investigations like these, where heinous crimes have been committed against Kenyans, where Kenyans are being killed by criminals, their job is not to investigate and reach to the bottom of the matter and arrest suspects and present them in court and have them convicted for life or even being hanged. No. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Kazi yake tu yeye ni kufanya kazi za yule tapeli na yule mwizi na yule muuaji yako Ikulu ya Kenya. Kumsafishia jina, kuzuia wananchi kutokuji express kwa mitandao wakisema one term Ruto must go etc. Even goes ahead and tells us ati sijui that inspector, I don't know inspector huyo mwenye who supplied the murder weapon, ati sijui he's on the run. He's on the run. DCI Mohammed Amin, hebu tuambie ukweli, on the run gani? Kama mnaweza kutrack Halima Ngache Kadzandani huko, kama mnaweza kutrack Boss Gabi kwa domi yake huko Moi University Eldoret, seriously, mtashindwa kutrack polisi mwenzenu? Si mnajua kwao kijiji chao ni wapi huko? Si muende mbasi mkamate mabibi yake huko ama mama yake, mumwabduct alafu mumwambie sasa mtafute kijana wako ama sisi tunani? Ama sisi tukue the way you did with Kibetubul and his brother. Bana. Tusitishwe sisi bana. Wakenya anakuambia tusitishwe. Tusitishwe sisi. Tusitishwe. That is the state of affairs in our National Police Service. The good thing is that I travel a lot around the country. I meet police officers who recognize me and they follow me either on Twitter or Facebook. Some of these police officers watch me here on my YouTube channel. They are part of our YouTube community. And whenever we speak in confidence. They request that some of this information I do not disclose where I got it from. But most of the times and most of these officers are diligent people who want to make an honest living and live simple lives. And they find themselves in the crossfires where now there are two parallel National Police Service organizations, one led by IG of Police Douglas Kanja and the other one led by the Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud K. Lagat. And they tell me that this has completely ruined the discipline in the force. Kuna watu ambao ni untouchables. They are completely untouchable. Hawawezi kuambiwa kitu na hawawezi kuguswa. Na wengi wanatoka kwa jamii ya Ruto. They come from President Ruto's tribe. And they are demoralized and they keep on telling me that Mwabili, you guys need to fight for us. Shida bana ya kuja kupigania polisi kwa mtandao ama kwa mitandao ni kwamba majority of the Kenyans look at the police as enemies. So how do I justify me coming to fight for you police officers? When time and again, whenever Kenyans are against President Ruto, mnatumwa mkuje kuwapiga na mipini ya mijembe, mkupatie security kwa goons, muende kwa rallies za upinzani, muwapige matia gas, mpige marisasi muue. But we know it is not regular police officers who do these things. We know that President Ruto has special killer police units. He has special killer police squads whose specific job is to antagonize anyone, any Kenyan who is against him. And we know that a majority of these officers come from Mohammed Amin, who is the DCI Director. My message to the Inspector General of Police, Douglas Kanja Kirocho: your legacy is at stake. One day, when President Ruto is out of office, the people of the Republic of Kenya are going to put you to account, and you will answer for each and every bullet that was used to kill all these young Kenyans who are asking President Ruto to do the right thing, to be an honest president, to stop lying to people, to stop stealing their taxes, to stop stealing their national assets, to stop abducting, torturing, and murdering young Kenyans. Douglas Kanja, I hope you will watch this. Take charge of the institution. If there are junior officers who are insubordinating you and your authority and your responsibility, remove them from office. Have them arrested. Have them charged. Have them investigated. Have them taken to court so that they can answer for their crimes. But do not participate in the cover-up of the harassment and antagonization of Kenyans. This is your Jomba Mobili Mogodi. Thank you very much for your support. Keep the conversation going in the comments. I really look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. If you are not subscribed to the channel, click on the subscribe button hapo chini. Like and share these videos with your friends and family around the world. Asanteni.